What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone 2 Kappa Mode. Oh yeah, guys, so last episode, we started hooking up a lot of good stuff with our applied energistics, and I've been doing some more off camera here. So as you can see, we have some crafting co-processors upstairs. Yes, and these are now 3x3 structures. We have the crafting storage in the very bottom center. Just because these are like easier to make the crafting co-processor than it is the storage, and we have to be like a cube form, so I can't just, do a weird shape or whatever. Anyway, this is the size that I want these things to be. These bottom rows down here, the 3x3s down here, will eventually be 64K storage disks or storage, crafting storages, whatever they're called, on both of these. But yeah, it's a little expensive when we don't have the processors hooked up to be automated, and that just takes a lot of time to do by hand. So yeah, these are just the crafting units plus, I think, a diamond processor, so it's a lot easier. Anyway, so we got those hooked up so we can craft things decently fast. I have gone over to our little crafting units over here, and I have added in more molecular assemblers and more interfaces. All these molecular assemblers, I just got done crafting a whole lot of these acceleration cards. Oh my goodness, so much stuff. I've been spending so much time off camera here, just like making processors and getting things. We need so many of these diamond wafers I keep making. It required a whole lot of mana infused steel. Wait, what is it called? Mana infused this stuff, whatever. Mana infused ingots from Thermal Foundation. So I was looking, I was kind of under the impression there was an easier way to get this stuff. I thought that you could make something called primal mana. There is this fluid here. I thought that you take primal mana and you put silver blocks around it, and then it converts it into the mana infused ingots. That's the way the default is supposed to be. However, in Kappa mode, it appears there is no recipe for primal mana. We cannot make it, and as far as I know, there is not a move fluid. In fact, I didn't even look. I probably should have. I'm pretty sure there is no move fluid for primal mana. No, it does not appear so. At least we have not obtained one at this point. So that's kind of a problem. So to get that, we pretty much have to go to the nether and get nether mithril ore. We can put that through our extreme furnace here and get, I think, 4 default ores, the vanilla thermal expansion ores or whatever. And then we can pulverize that for 4 dusts each and then smelt those. So that's what I've been doing. I went to the nether and I clicked it, I don't know, like 30, maybe more than that. I was also kind of hoping that the mana infused ore would spawn in the mining world. I went to the mining world and into that hole that we dug straight down to bedrock, and I kind of cleared out all the ores, and I was looking and I didn't see any of this mana infused ore around, so maybe I cleared it out before or whatever. Either way, it doesn't look like you can get it there as far as I can tell, unless I was just very unlucky. So it looks like we can get this stuff from the laser drill. So this is definitely a way of doing it. We just need the laser focus blue, but then we need to set up the entire laser drill, which costs a lot of power. And we have to do the whole pink slime thing, which we haven't done yet, the slaughterhouse. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this MFR laser drill. So nether mithril ore is the way that I went with that. Like I said, you get 4 of those if you do it through the extreme furnace with the ore processing upgrade or whatever that thing is. So the other way that I know of to get mana infused is molten mana infused metal. And we so happen to have a move fluid cow that has that, but only one. So we can't breed it. We can't make a whole lot of it. Well, I mean, the move fluid we can just milk indefinitely. But yeah, we can't make a whole bunch of these cows make a whole lot really fast. So we do have one molten mana infused metal, and I put it here so the cooldown would tick down while we're doing other things. Since when you place it down, it has a cooldown like 5,000 ticks or something when you take it out of the soul vial. Yeah, it takes a long time. So anyway, I left it here. I did put a chunk loader under this platform, so all of our move fluids that we put here can be chunk loaded. We do need to get power hooked up over here and bring our ranchers over here. This whole platform right on this side is going to be removed once we do that. I was kind of afraid to move our LPG cows at this time, since that is our main fluid, or I guess our main power source right now. I was kind of watching how much LPG we're using. And this thing doesn't seem to ever stay full. Like, it's always using stuff and pushing it out into our ender tank here. So if we remove that, we're gonna be out of power pretty quickly. Yeah, so anyway, what we need to do is get some more ranchers made up, put over here so we can transport the cows and just have everything continue to work. So that's gonna require us to have power over here. And we don't have a way to move power. We don't have our centralized power storage, so that's another thing that we're gonna be working on. I've also added in a few more things over here. You'll notice that our storage is now moved. I have moved that down below here. We have a controller sleeve that is pumping the items into our storage drawers, and then a drawer controller right here, which we have a storage bus attached to, like we've seen before. And that's connecting these to our ME network. I have upgraded all the drawers, finally, with these storage upgrade tier 6s. So yes, we can store a whole lot of all these different things. I've also added in nature essence and water essence. Both of these you can combine and turn into wood. Previously, all of our wood has been coming from the rubber wood, the mega sacred rubber trees, whatever we cut down. Yeah, so one jungle, or I guess one of the rubber wood turned into one jungle plank. But with this, if we just search for wood, we can see an oak wood is made from 1 water and then 3 of the nature essence, and it turns into 4 logs. So one crafting operation gives us 4 of those, and then obviously we're still only going to get 1 plank until we get that hooked up into the sawmill. But for right now, this works. I don't have to keep taking the rubber wood out of that, the cache, and then putting it to the system and all that kind of stuff. It's just automated right now. We're going to be collecting this stuff all the time, so this will fill up eventually. This has a lot less than this one because I've been using a lot of wood to make all those molecular assemblers. I forgot how much wood goes into one of these molecular assemblers because it requires a double compressed crafting table, which is 9 compressed crafting tables, which is 9 crafting tables, which is 9, or I guess 4 logs each, right? So that's a lot of wood that goes into each one of those molecular assemblers. It kind of is getting to the point where we should look at getting our machines hooked up so we can make planks, 5 planks out of 1 log using the sawmill, but we're just not there yet. So anyway, we got this all hooked up. We have the water essence, we have the Technicolor essence, we have the nature essence all hooked up over here going into our storage drawers, and we have all the upgrades. So now we can make all the dyes, get all of the wood. It's just so much better. Okay, so another thing that I did is I also ran a cable all the way over to our mob farm over here, and we have that on a storage drawer, or I guess a storage bus as well, so we can see all of these different items that we have collected from our mob drops and access those from our main ME system, which is really awesome. Okay, so we have that kind of done. Oh, you know what? There's 2 zombies here. Might as well, even though we have the automated zombie thing. I've noticed that these monsters are not moving very fast, and I think something might have happened with one of the updates. I kind of like forgot the movement speed of these monsters, or I don't know what happened. But anyway, they used to be moving like super fast, and now they're kind of walking. So I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera. Like I said, what we need to do is start looking at getting power moved around. Now, there's a couple ways we could move power around. We can do that with P2P tunnels, using the RF P2P tunnels. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, these guys right here. This is, well, it's hard to see because dang it, I hate when that happens. Let me go click on this. Okay, so it says RF P2P tunnel. You make the regular ones, all these other ones don't have a crafting recipe, so you make the ME ones and you click it with like a conduit or something, and it turns it into the RF version. So we can put an RF tunnel, P2P tunnel, right on our power cell over here, and then we can run the power through Applied Energistics across dimension, and then put a P2P RF tunnel on the other side, a receiving end. That's one way to do it, or we could look at Tesseracts. The thing that I like better about Tesseracts is it doesn't matter where you put your sending Tesseract, as long as it's on the same channel. if I were to put a P2P on the side of this and then we move this, everywhere else I have a receiving P2P for power, I have to go update again. And that's kind of annoying. Not only that, we tried doing a whole bunch of wireless, or I guess applied energistics version of moving power around when I live streamed this mod pack, and for some reason, even though applied energistics uses very, very little power to be running in this mod pack, like putting stuff through that P2P RF tunnel, it was just using so much power. So I don't think that's a really viable option, although it would make things a lot nicer. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to stick with Tesseracts. Also, network. Didn't I have? I thought I made like a network tool. Maybe I have it in my pouch here. Or maybe it's called networking. Well, it says network here. I had made a networking tool. I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know what I did with it. Okay, well, let's make another networking tool. So we need a Certus quartz wrench and then a chest, which we have an auto craft. So the networking tool will tell you how much power is your ME system is using right now. I just kind of want to show you guys this. So if I right click on here, you can see that we are currently using 2 RF per tick for all of the stuff that we are currently doing, right? That's a lot of stuff. All these molecular assemblers, all these ME interfaces, all these ME controllers. Like, we're using next to no power at all to keep this system running. But yeah, like I said, when I was doing the P2P RF tunnels, it was using thousands of RF per tick to move the power around, and it's just not good. So we're gonna look at using Tesseracts like I was talking about. I'll keep that in my pouch just so I know where it is in the future. I must have dropped that somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, let us start looking at making Tesseracts. So a Tesseract is made in this mod pack with the standard recipe here, where you have to make the full Tesseract frame and you put bronze and silver around it. So the Tesseract frame full is made with a Tesseract frame put with ender pearl juice. So 4 ender pearls go into there. That's fine. This is where things start getting a little bit Kappa mode. So we need a resonant energy cell frame that's full. We need electrotein alloy ingots. That's not bad. And then we need these energizer capsules. These are made with 40 redstone blocks and then an energizer capsule empty and the induction smelter. The empty energizer capsules are made with aluminum or glustonic steel. And then we need lead and fused quartz. Okay, so that's not so bad. It looks like we can also use conductive iron if we wanted to. Yeah, those are the only recipes. Let's go back. So resonant energy cell frame is that full of 40 redstone dust that is melted down. That's the normal recipe. So then we need enderium ingots and then more of these energizer capsules to make this. So far that's 8 of these energizer capsule, 8 times 40 redstone blocks to make a Tesseract. Okay, so let's go into this one here. So that's normal, 40 more redstone melted down for this. And then we need an additional 4 more of these things. So now we're up to 12 times 40 redstone blocks to make a Tesseract. All right, and then that's aluminum again. And then go in here, that seems pretty normal, and this seems pretty normal. Okay, so it's a heck of a lot of redstone. We don't have that much redstone in our system here. We do have redstone over here, thank goodness, a lot of it. And then we also have the redstone that we can get from the magical crops. So we already have the blocks made here. So that's almost 40,000 redstone blocks. So that is gonna get us where we need to be, but that's just a heck of a lot of redstone to make a Tesseract, but that's what we wanna do. So let me go ahead and just fill my inventory full of these things. We're gonna be making a lot of these parts. Let me go ahead and start working on this stuff, making some of these different things, and we'll be right back, guys. Oh my goodness, guys. So I went ahead and I made 4 Tesseracts. That way we have a little bit for later. And in doing so, we got some quest completions here. Yeah, so we got the one for Resonant Cell. I guess we have made the Redstone Cell previously. So we got the Resonant Cell one, Chance Cube, and a loot chest for a reward. We'll claim those. And then the Tesseract one. It's going to give us a compact giant Chance Cube and a half a heart. And we'll claim one of those. Okay, cool. So we got those all done. So let's open one of these. So chunk loaders, that's good. I've been using those a lot. And then this one, we get security desk and ME security terminal. I forget, have we gotten the security terminal before? Yes, we did. Okay, so we've already gotten those before, but those are still going to be useful so we can get wireless stuff going. It's probably something we should be doing by now, but we're not moving all over the base. So I don't need access to the items over here, the Britannia area or whatever. So for right now, I think we're going to be just fine. Okay, so now that we have some Dezer Acts here, we need to get those hooked up. Right, so over at our thingy, let me turn my magnet. It is on. Break a block here. I'll put the Dezer Act on the side just so we can get power directly out of this thing. So Dezer Act, right click. We need to say channel 1. We're going to call this, as I do, main base power. Power. And then we'll add the frequency. Click it. Click the check mark. We're going to say this is going to be, let's see, fluid mode off, energy mode, send only. So this is going to be sending power from our one, what is this thing? Vibrant, I was going to say resonant. Vibrant capacitor bank. Yeah, we'll be able to send power out of here. This will also give us an indication how much power we are using total. So if we're using too much or whatever, we'll be able to see it here, which is going to be awesome. So now we have to set a receiving end over in the last millennium. But before we do that, we should probably make a few more things here, or at least grab some stuff. We're going to need energy conduit. We'll probably be upgrading to this energy conduit. Can I tell the system to make like 20 more of those? Let's do that just so we have extras, because I don't know how much we're going to need. Is there anything else we're going to need? Maybe fluid conduit. We'll grab some of this stuff. Maybe. How many drums do we have? Any available? We don't have any drums at all. So if we're going to be collecting stuff from our moo fluid cows, it would probably make sense to get a drum. I should remember the recipe by now. They're all the same. They've always been the same for a long time. Let's get 4 of those. We will make 8 of these. I think all these drums on the screen kind of lags things for some reason. 8 of those. And let's make 4 drums. Okay, so now we got a bunch of drums available. Cool. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else we're gonna need to do? I think for right now, we should be able to get things relatively hooked up pretty good and pretty quickly. So last millennium, I think another thing that I wanted to do was to grab some wheat. We have wheat in hay bale form. Let's grab this many. I would like to breed our LPG cows just so we have a few extras before we take them. Hey cows, you get a wheat and you get a wheat. You gonna make it the baby? Sometimes they don't get hearts because yeah, the cooldown or whatever. Well, they have hearts and they're not making babies, so I don't know what the deal is. Why don't you have... What happens if I right-click this one really quickly? Oh, there we go. There we go. We're gonna make a baby? All right, cool. So yeah, I guess these 2 must have been, or I guess these 3. No, probably the 2 have been milked or whatever. All right, so anyway, the baby moo fluid cow can still get LPG'd, milked, whatever, ranched. While it's a baby, it still produces the same fluid, so that's kind of cool. So we can take 1 cow and it won't like affect the current amount of power that we're using right now. So I like that. This guy right here, we're not using this at all at the moment. So let's take this rancher, take these power conduits out of here, and this one. All right. So yeah, we will set up a rancher over here. Probably, I think we should probably set up the LPG one first. Does that need to be back 1 block? I can't remember how this works. Nope, that needs to be right there. Perfect. In fact, we could hide it underground. I do think it would still ranch them and then we wouldn't have to see these things on the surface. In fact, we should maybe just do that, right? That might be better. Might look a little bit nicer. We can run all the wires underground. We put that here, hold this. Yeah, check that out. So we can hide that underground. It's still going to ranch the cows. All we'll see on the surface is just the cows. And we can do stuff behind the scenes here. So I'll put that, the LPG or whatever is going to go into that drum. Let me grab one of our... Oh, I put the soul vial away. Okay, so I need to go back and get a soul vial. Another thing I would like to do here in the last millennium, I would like to get ourselves another crafting terminal. Eventually that won't matter when we can make the wireless crafting terminal, but that thing is like really expensive in this pack, so we need to have like a regular terminal for now, and that requires, I think, a witch. So we might have to set up a witch spawner specifically for making witches to do those kinds of things. So we needed a soul vial here. I'll grab a couple. I'll grab 3 of them so we can move our cows around a little bit easier. All right, back to last millennium. Cool. All right, so maybe I'll move the baby one. We'll leave the other adults there for now. I'm gonna try and make a few more baby LPG cows. I think that's gonna be smart to have more than one baby for right now. So this one says current cooldown 0. Can I make more babies over here? Anybody want some wheat? This one, oh, I guess this is the next one that's going to make a baby here. Just gotta wait for the ticks to cool down here. So what is it, like 20 more seconds or whatever, and then we'll be able to do that. Yeah, so we'll be able to have more LPG on hand. I would like to move all of our generators that are currently using our LPG to one central location, which we're gonna be able to do now, which is super awesome. I just gave you wheat. You had hearts, and now your hearts are gone. Well, maybe if I give this one... It says cool down, 106 seconds remaining. I don't know if that's for breeding or not. That might be the breeding cooldown. I think that's what that means. Okay, well, I can't make a baby right now. I'm gonna figure out what I need to do to get this stuff moved. Move it over there, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, well, we got our cows moved over here. I ended up making a second baby cow eventually. Yeah, we got everything hooked up, so you can't really tell anything's going on here, just some cows. If we hold the precision sledgehammer, we can see that all the cows are in the area effect of the ranchers, and we are in fact ranching. So I got this one hooked up over here. We have 23 buckets of the molten infused metal. We'll have to cast that out, obviously. We could probably do that operation here, just have it go directly into a casting basin, and then have the items pulled out into an ender chest or a tesseract sending back to the base. That might be something we do. I'm not sure yet, but for right now, just as long as we have this available, that's gonna make me happy, so we don't have to keep going to the nether to look for the mithril. Our LPG is doing pretty well over here as well. I put a drum here as a buffer. We never had a buffer before. It was just going directly into this tank and the fluid tank. Yeah, this one that was pumping the items, the buckets, into the survivalist generator. But anyway, all that stuff is now being stored here, and then we're pumping that into our ender tank, which is what we're using for power everywhere currently. I've ran some of the energy conduit around. Yep, I ran out. This is as far as we could go. So we have a few spots available if we make the ranchers already ready to go. So we'll probably be looking at getting some other cows here that are going to be useful. I would like to get ourselves another... I would like to have a pair of each of these so we can breed them and have multiple when we need a lot of whatever fluid it is. But for right now, I think this is going to work rather well, so I'm pretty happy with the way this has turned out. The fewer of those generators that we have around, I think it's going to be the better thing. Another thing we can do over here is get rid of this and put a tesseract over here, which is another thing I like to do. And I'd also like to replace all of this energy conduit with the higher tier version. But for right now, we can just go ahead and slap a tesseract here. So let's do that. We have 2 more available. We'll place one right here, and then as we fill this out and get more stuff, we'll probably put in a better location. Get rid of that, and we will set this thing to energy mode, receive only on main base power. Turn that on, and now the everything here is being ran directly off our tesseract back from the main base. So we're gonna start using more power than what we've been used to. That's another thing. So we got to make sure we take all these other high temperature furnace generators back with us. We'll grab this stuff, that, and this. Yep. And then we can add in more stuff at the main base. So I'm recording today on April 1st. And as you can see, there's a lot of Nicolas Cage faces. That's, I guess, Thermal Expansion's April Fool's prank. That's kind of weird looking at that. Just seeing Nicolas Cage staring back at you. So anyway, all of the power here in the last millennium is now being sent from the base back home, which is pretty awesome. Another thing, I've mentioned this twice, I never really got this hooked up to show you guys, but I have now a fluix cable coming off our quantum ring here. It's attached to a level emitter, and this level emitter is set to emit a redstone signal when the items are above 0 for pixie dust. That's just the first time I thought that we'd always have in the system. So yeah, it is set to emit when levels are above or equal to this limit. And this capacitor bank is set to not emit any power if it has a redstone signal. So as soon as this ring gets disconnected for whatever reason, this redstone signal turns off, it'll start putting power into the energy acceptor, which will power the ring and wait for it to get a signal and then reconnect again, and then it'll turn itself off as soon as it connects to the main base and it sees that we have pixie dust, right? So that's the way that's set up. Okay, so anyway, we can go back to the main base now. I want to get this other generator hooked up over there. Also, I'd like to start looking at getting some more capacitor banks, some vibrant capacitor banks. So we might just craft up a whole lot of those and make ourselves a larger power storage. I think that's something we really need to do. It looks like right now we are keeping up on the power, so I think we should be okay. Let me look here. It looks like those are staying... Yeah, those are staying right where they need to be. But I think we're kind of reached the limit right now. We're kind of at an equilibrium. If I do anything, we start losing a lot of power, and it takes forever for that power to come back online. So I'll hook this high temperature furnace up. I'll make some more capacitors, and then we'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, well I went ahead and I made a bunch of these vibrant capacitor banks. Since we have all the capacitors, we have all the electrical steel, we have all the dark steel, just something I never got around to before because we never really needed it. But yeah, so now we can hold 9 billion RF. That's a decent amount. It has a maximum input and output of 9 million, but yeah, we can hold 9 billion RF. So we're currently making 7,000 RF per tick, which is okay, I guess. And then if this thing fills all the way up, we'll have a huge power buffer for when we need a lot of power. But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to look at upgrading our power here pretty soon. So I added in our 5 high temperature furnace generators back here. Yep, and we got one on the bottom as well, and we're inputting the fluid through the top. So yeah, these are all sending power into the capacitor bank here through the back. And then out of the capacitor bank, we are sending our RF power. Yep, and then over here, where the capacitor bank used to be, I still need to fill in this floor. I replaced this conduit, or I put the tesseract in line with the conduit, so we're sending power over here to our cobblestone framework. Yep, and then the rest of the base is being powered off this. We're gonna have to find a better location for that. I feel like we have too many conduits running all over the base, and I kind of would like to break some of these up. It seems like when you get a huge conduit network, whenever you break or replace the conduit, starts lagging the game because it has to update the entire network or whatever. So it's kind of better to keep them more centralized and smaller. But yeah, we're going to want more tesseracts, or we're going to want more capacitor banks or something just to kind of break up the networks. And those are things we'll work on a little bit later. But before we wrap up the episode for today, I kind of wanted to work on just one more project, something that we're kind of in the middle of doing over here in the last millennium over at our mana-infused cow. So yes, we got, I did finish up the rest of this conduit, and I replaced the conduit over there underneath our farms. We have our molten mana-infused metal here. Let's start casting this out automatically. So I will put a casting base in here. We will put an ender fluid conduit. We'll extract out of here and insert into here, right? So does that not work? Do you have to insert? Oh, maybe you have to insert from the top. Okay, that's something I didn't know. Magnets on, let's break this. Oop, that is, I misplaced that one. We want to place it right there. All right, so let's set this to insert. So can we not extract out of this and cast this stuff out? Maybe it'd help if I set that to be always active. That probably would help. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna set just a storage drawer. Oh, I don't know, right here. No, I guess we needed one block closer. Let's do that. Put that guy right here. Yep. And then we can pull out of this thing with an item conduit. So that'll be extract, always active. And this is insert. And there we go. Now we're going to be getting molten mana infused blocks automatically. I won't have to worry about going to the nether to get that mithril anymore. This is pretty simple. Eventually, I would like to get this so our molten mana infused metal is available through applied energistics. We can do that thanks to extra cells, so we might look at doing that at some point, but for right now, this is going to serve its purpose. Another thing, I'd like to have this stuff sent back automatically to the base, but we don't have the applied energistics ran over here. It'd be a simple thing, just inserting that into some kind of an interface or whatever. But yeah, like I said, this is gonna happen over time since we're on a local server, right? And this area is all chunk loaded, so we will get a full 2048 blocks, I think is what that thing holds, full of the molten mana infused metal, and that is gonna be fantastic. All right, guys, I tell you what, I think we're gonna wrap the episode up here for today. I had a lot of fun getting things hooked up. Yeah, it feels good starting to progress a little bit through this mod pack. I feel like we're about mid-game now, right? We're no longer early game. We have applied energistics. We have resources coming in automatically. We still have to get machines hooked up to auto-process things for us. We still got to get our power situation fully fleshed out. There's still a lot of things to do in this mod pack. And then once we hit end game, my goodness, there is a heck of a lot of things to do. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.